So I'll show you some of the tools that are going to be needed to install your roof rack, just to make this a lot easier for you. We kind of put it out on paper here, kind of makes it easier for myself as well. So you've got a 13 millimeter wrench here, you've got a 3/8 wrench here, a 12 millimeter, a 3/16 Allen, and a quarter, or excuse me, an eighth, and a 5/32. So, and then this is gonna be all the hardware that's needed to put the roof rack together. This is the only thing that you're gonna use off your old roof rack. This is the original roof rack mounting hardware. It has a rubber grommet on it, and it works really well because this helps to seal when this goes down onto the roof rack. I'm gonna stay right here. I'm just gonna grab something. This is the mounting plate that goes in the rear. To give you an idea on how this goes, it mounts this, the side bracket mounts on here, this mounts on here, and then this goes over the top like this. So it seals against the top here when it goes through. This little cylinder here, around each one of the holes on the top of the roof, we suggest putting silicone to seal this, then slide this into the silicone. And if it comes around the edges is great, then you know you've got enough on there. Just let it sit in there when you're doing it. Then obviously once you want to put this back over the top, you've already got this mounted to the side rails at the same time. But this is for our bottle openers. This is for this here for the side. This is for all the crossbars on it. And then these are all for the front panel and the floor insert screws here. And this is a 1/4 by 3/8. Obviously here we've got the 5/16 by 18. We've got the 1/4 by 3/4, that's for the crossbars. Bottle openers, 10/32 by 5/8, and then obviously our aluminum cylinders here. But this is all the hardware or all the tools for all the stuff you're gonna need to install this roof rack as doing here. So we're gonna get this roof rack put together. We're gonna show it to you how it is put together, and then we're gonna show installing it on the vehicle as well, just to make it easier for you to understand how we install the roof rack and the best techniques or ways of doing it. All right, so we're gonna talk about today about assembly on one of our Westcott Designs roof racks. One of the big things that we get customers ask is where the parts go, what's the best way to put this thing together when you're doing it. We suggest you lay it all out on the floor, get everything kind of laid where it belongs in place. It'll make it super easy. You can get your screws lined up, your tabs lined up, all your hardware is laid out so you kind of know where everything goes. Probably first off, to tell people when you're starting to put this rack together, I say start on one side, and basically what you want to do is you want to flip the side up on it. If you're doing it by yourself, flip it up on its side, and then what you want to do is on this rear bolt here, you want to go ahead and get it started, and you want to just get the bolt started here on this side. And obviously you can see this is not making it look any easier than it is or any harder as well. But want to get it started here. I got that one started. And then you want to get this one started. And then I kind of let it just sit like that. And then what I do is then I come down to the middle of the rack, and I then start the center of the rack here just to get it started as well. So it adds a little more support in the roof rack when doing so. And I sometimes twist it backwards to get it lined up, and then I'll spin it forward, and then it makes it really easy to get it lined up with the hole. And I'll kind of, run them in as far as I can, kind of even maybe shake the bar a little bit. That really helps to get them, just keep them loose as I'm threading them in. And so I've got this side. Now we're on this center bar. Go up to the front up here. And then all we do is so back it up there. Obviously I'm having trouble getting this one threaded. Run that one the rest of the way in. Got that one started. Then what I'll go ahead and do, I'll start filling all these in. I'll go in this side here, and then when I'm done getting this side all filled in, the top, just get them started just like I did in the back ones. I'll then switch over to this side, and then I'll start and do the exact same thing. I'll do the front one first. You're gonna get the basket inserts in it. So what we've done is we've set the bars down at the lower level. We've put all the T-nut inserts in all the bars. So the nice thing is now we'll just separate these once we get up on roof. It's easiest to take and leave the panels, the inserts out of the roof rack before installing it. So we suggest installing it on the roof, then go back and start from the back and work yourself from the back to the front to do the inserts, because then you can kneel on them and you'll work your way up to the front of the rack. We've installed the bolt down legs that actually use the factory holes for the roof rack. You can see they're slotted. The slotted side down goes down onto the roof. Just the perfectly round hole goes into the side. The biggest legs go in the back. So the longest legs go in the back. And this is to allow for the distance of difference in the roof itself. This allows you to slide the roof rack back and forth from side to side to get it the way you want it to sit on the roof. So then you'll notice up here in the front of the roof rack, now we're back up at the front. This is the other set of front bolt holes. It does have the slotted holes as well, facing downward onto the roof. These other pieces here, these are the ones, the legs that are gonna sit down on the front here. We have left them off. We leave them off every single time before we get the roof rack back up on the roof of the car. And the reason we do that is it just makes it easy to just get all the hardware, the bolts started for all four corners, and then go back and then hold this up to match up the holes here, match up in the front here on both sides before you trim, mark it with a marker or a scribe, and then go back and cut the piece of rubber strip in the center there, so you really make a really nice mark to where this is gonna sit down in there. This piece actually does not sit on top of the plastic or the rubber leg or the insert. It does not sit on that. It actually sits down in the drip rail down inside there where the seam of the roof is seamed in from the side to the middle there. It'll sit on the weld down there in the bottom. And this will allow for the weight distribution on the rack to be properly distributed throughout the rack. The roof rack, the front visor, you can put it on before, you can put it on after. This one happens to be a no cutout roof visor. Every one of our roof racks does come with a rubber strip. We put that on there. Obviously it makes it easier, and the way you can tell that this roof rack is on the truck properly is when the visor sits directly on the roof. So there's no gap up underneath the front or center of the visor. It sits there, and that's to keep the airflow over the roof rack and across the sides on the roof rack. So we don't get any airflow up underneath to cause any whistling or wind noises. And obviously to keep the gas mileage as close to factory spec as possible. So again, we'll get the roof rack going here. We'll get it up on the vehicle. We'll show you some other key tips once the roof rack's up and installed on the vehicle. Thanks again. Okay, we've got the rack all assembled. We've got all the feet on it the way they're supposed to be. You can see right here real quick, the slotted holes down. This is the shorter of the slotted holes. This is the back one here. This is the longer of the slotted holes facing downward onto the roof. So the roof rack's here. We have all the cylinders up here on the roof already in place. You can see they've already got the caulking around them. Actually, we press them into the caulking. So all the screws are sitting up here on the roof of the truck. So they're ready. So once we set the roof rack, that we can go ahead and just insert the screws. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put the roof rack up onto the vehicle now. We do suggest using 2 people. If you've got 4 people, it makes it even easier to just balance it. We've got 1 tall guy in this situation and 1 short guy. So it doesn't matter how tall or how short you are, it's still possible. And then what they're doing now is they are setting the roof rack onto the cylinders on the roof. So they've got it there, they're holding it right now. Okay, and so what he's doing now is he's climbing up on the roof. He's gonna get a couple of the screws started. Eyes around to the back here.